And our reporter, Staci Bivens, joins me now in the studio for more. Staci, welcome. This growing number of infections and indeed deaths doesn't seem to be convincing the skeptical to actually get the jab. What is behind that?
Yeah, it's interesting because Russia has developed 3 vaccines, including Sputnik 5, which is the first approved COVID-19 vaccine. So for many people, though, it's a matter of trust. They don't trust the government. So therefore, they don't trust the government statistics when it comes to COVID-19, and they don't trust what's in the vaccine itself. About half of Russian adults say that they will not get the jab. So that is very disconcerting for the government. And also, Russia has a problem with messaging. We just heard that doctor saying how dire the situation is, and the health minister is saying that the country is on the verge of a near critical situation. At the same time, though, the Kremlin is saying, yeah, the virus is dangerous, but the situation is under control and we have enough hospital beds. So when you have such a huge disparity and you have so many people with so many questions, they're not doing enough to reassure people.
So with that distrust so high, as well as the mixed messaging that you talked about, what exactly is the Kremlin doing to try to reach out to those who may be hesitant to get a vaccine?
Well, it's interesting. The spokespeople for the Kremlin are frustrated, and they say that they have done all that they can. They believe that their messaging was good, and they believe that they've made vaccinations accessible because they do have so many vaccines that are homegrown. So it's placing the blame on the population, on the unvaccinated. A spokesman says everything has been done to give the public the chance to save lives, but too many people are balking at that chance. And speaking of frustrations, a state-run news agency went down to the annexed region of Crimea to give an example of how dire the situation is. And they interviewed 2 men who said, you know, this is my fault. I was irresponsible for not getting the virus. And then they talked about how difficult the recovery process is with COVID. So they feel like the messaging, like I said, has been where it needs to be, and now it's the responsibility of the people to get the help that they need.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about vaccines. Of course, lockdowns are another tool in the toolkit for many governments around the world to try and get these numbers under control. Have we seen anything with regard to that as a possibility that the Russian government may impose?
The Kremlin is saying no, there's not going to be a nationwide lockdown. They said that it was too hard on the economy. And some politicians say that it was too hard on President Putin's reputation, and it hurted his popularity. So now they're giving that responsibility to the region. So while a lot of governments are centralizing the fight against COVID, Russia's saying, no, we're giving it to the regions, let them deal with it.
All right, our reporter, Staci Bivens, thanks so much for that update here in the studio.
You're welcome.